everyone.
Good evening and welcome.
What day is it today, Deb?
I think it's Friday.
And who is our guest?
I have no idea.
Oh, not this again.
I know, but one thing I do know is it's Codes of the Unknown.
Oh, yeah. Good evening. It's not Friday, it's Sunday, just in case it confused anyone. We're joined tonight by Vincent Richardson, all the way from Missouri, St. Louis, and he's going to be telling us about some of his encounters and what he's got going on, amongst other stuff. So any questions, please put them in capitals, and we'll do the questions as we go, but I'll save most of them for the second half. Is that all right with you?
Perfect.
Excellent. Right. So, Vincent at the moment is part of Phantoms and Monsters, which he does with Lon Strickler.
Yes, sir.
From the group, but that being, I think you're the only two people that I actually know of or know. So, you want to talk about that first, and then we'll jump straight in.
Sure. Phantoms and Monsters Radio is a YouTube channel. We just switched over. We used to be Beyond Explanation. That was with Mark and Bill Fuller, and that's how this all started. They brought me in, and I worked with their channel for a while, and then unfortunately Mark passed away, and we decided to rebrand it to Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And now it's me and Lon, and we're getting ready to add 2 more shows. We've got Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central. We've got Phantoms and Monsters Radio with Lon Strickler. And then every other Wednesday, on Wednesday shows, we've got Personal Reports, where we take Phantoms and Monsters blogs, and we narrate them live.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. Cheers for that. Right. So I'm going to ask you very first question. Tell us, please tell us your Dogman encounter.
Tell us about the Dogman. Right.
What did he do? Where did he come from?
Yeah,
why have I not seen one yet?
Have you gone looking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I was not looking for this, so follow me, if you will, on a magical journey to 1993. We were dealing with a flood, a terrible flood, and me and my family, we actually had to move out for a while. There were propane tanks near our house that fell over, and we had to evacuate the area. So, this is where things get interesting. We go to Lake Timberline, Missouri.
Yeah.
Back then, it was not as built up as it is today. And we went and stayed with my Uncle Steve, which was my father's best friend and fishing buddy and, best buddy.
Yeah.
Well, we go out there. Long story short, no. But we get out there, and so this is 93. I'm about 9 years old. We go out there, we unpack. I've been in the car for a couple hours. I want to go play. It's a big open trailer lot. He's got a double wide, and about a quarter of a mile back is a path that led into a lake where we would fish. But right before where the path that led off to the lake, we had these targets set up where my dad and my Uncle Steve would shoot, arrows and guns and
Yeah.
Well, so I was playing over there. I had my Thundercat toys with me, and I was playing out in the hay bales over there. And I see over in the bushes about, I would say about 30 yards away, some rustling, and I thought it was like a little dog. It looked like a little puppy dog.
Yeah.
Sticking his head out in the bushes, and I'm calling to it. And at the time, I was pretty animal obsessed. So I really wanted to go play with the dog. So I coaxed this thing to come out. And I start to play with this thing for about 20 or 30 minutes, and it gets like in my lap, sitting there in my lap, hanging out, petting this dog, and I'm looking at this little puppy, which I first thought was maybe some sort of German Shepherd mutt-looking dog. It was all black with like brown markings. And pretty much covered in this like red clay mud that was all in the area. So I've got this clay mud all over me, and I'm playing with this dog.
Yeah.
And my dad whistles, and he does this whistle when he wants to get your attention. You can hear it for like blocks away. It's this I can't do it.
That's one of them. Yeah.
So he does this. This dog sprints off of my lap and into the woods again. So I run off about 20 yards in there trying to chase this dog back here because I was going to, in my head, I was going to go take this dog to my parents and be like, hey, look, it's a dog. We're keeping the dog, right? But when I got in there, I had noticed that it would not come back out to me as I was calling it. And then from behind a tree came a much larger, stranger thing than the weird puppy that I was playing with.
Yeah.
I might also add, when I was playing with this puppy, I was half concerned that it could be a raccoon. About 10 minutes into playing with this thing, because it had such a weird front forepaws. Yeah. And it was real strange. It was real strange. The only thing I had to compare it to at the time, being 9, was like a ferret, because my cousin had a ferret. Have you ever seen a ferret's hands? Like their paws? It was like that.
Like proper little hands.
Yeah. They look like or now I would probably say like a raccoon.
Yeah.
Well, I had noticed that when I was playing with this thing when it was in my lap. I mean, this thing was like chewing on my hand, and I'm wrestling around with it. It had to have been no bigger than like if you saw a German Shepherd puppy, when it's still like growing, and they got the big paws, and they got the big goofy looking ears, and they look like a proper puppy. So that's why, I thought what I thought. Now back to this thing. When this thing first popped out of the woods, it grabbed this little guy and took it up in its arms and turned and sprinted away on two legs.
Yeah.
And this was the first time that I had seen what I now know to be an upright canine.
Wow.
It was standing about 20 yards away from me, if that. I mean, if that. And it was larger than my father, I would say. And it looked, if you want to show the picture.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It is. There you go. So this is your drawing. This is your drawing of what you've seen.
This is what I saw that night, and then the following morning, and then a couple days later. Yeah. But that was my first sighting of it. It took it, and it sprinted off. Now, my dad comes, and I'm kind of freaked. I'm not like when you're a little kid and you see something like that, your mind races, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying werewolf to my dad and Wile E. Coyote and things like that. It took this dog away from me. Now, about this time, my dad and my uncles and there's a whole lot of people out there at the time. They noticed that I smelled like a skunk sprayed me.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, no, like that bad. I hadn't noticed. I don't know if it sprayed me or if it just stunk that bad, or I'm not sure.
It just like left its scent on you.
Right. So so they embarrassingly enough made me, take clothes off and go hose off and go take a shower and whatnot. And I heard about it for the rest of the night. Everybody calling me skunk boy and he was playing with a skunk out there, and that's what they thought. They thought I was playing with this skunk out there, and I got sprayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we take my clothes and we tie it in a trash bag, and I guess that they put it next to the back door of the double wide because they stunk. They really did.
Yeah.
So we'll fast forward a little bit, and to that night. That night, I wake up to use the bathroom, and the bathroom is right next to that back door. It's a double wide trailer. Okay. Now out the back door there is one of these yellow spotlights that they used to see back in these old houses, and it was almost like a big yellow globe light that you would have, out in your back patio.
Oh,
but it was about bright, and it wasn't like a spotlight, but it was like it was a big light. So it had about like a 30-foot radius of light back there. And when I was looking out that back door window, I could see that thing out there. I could see it right outside of the light. Yeah. So I went to go get my mom, of course, when I come back with my mom, trying to wake up in the middle of the night, they're drinking bonfire all night, and I try to wake her up, and of course they think I'm full of crap, and I'm a little kid. They think I'm playing with a skunk, so they didn't pay too much mind to me telling them about Wile E. Coyote in the backyard of the double wide. So, next morning, we're going to fish in the morning.
Yeah.
And you having a sound issue? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? No, there's a few people saying they can't hear me. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, people are saying it sounds like the aircon's on. You're very loud. I'm
really loud? Do I need to turn down?
No, you're loud, but they can't hear me.
That's what my family says.
Yeah. I've just unplugged my mic and plugged it back in. So I'm hoping.
Oh, we're getting the better now.
Yeah,
we're getting the
right.
thumbs up. Sweet.
Right, that's it. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I didn't know if it was my end, your end, or
It's okay.
something out and about in between.
It could be the haunted house. It could be the house. I blame all the freaky electrical things that go wrong on the house.
Don't give anything away just yet.
Right. We're good. All right. So in the morning, this is the more interesting part of the story. But I think that first part's interesting. I mean, it really changed my life, guys. But the second part is a little bit more extreme than that. So I go up in the morning, and I had actually was looking for. That's my cat. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I'm looking for this part of the toy. I told you about that Thundercat toy that I was playing with, right? These old toys, there was like a battery pack that you put in their back, and the eyes glowed. You know. Okay, so I'm looking for this battery pack, and I think it's in my pants pocket. That was in the excuse me. It was in my pants pocket that was in the bag that was sprayed. And so I go out there to look for it, and the bag's gone. My dad and my uncle had already left, and the bag was gone. So I don't know if they took it or whatever. So I go in there, I'm eating breakfast, asking them, and they said, well, you woke up late, they're already fishing, you can go catch up to them. Which is fine, because I've known this place for quite a while. I know how to get to the lake. It's about a 30-minute walk. So I grab my stuff, and I go out to the lake. And there's right when you get to the lake, there's a part where you could put a little paddle boat in, where there's an old bench, and there's a few trees, a way into the water, down into the water. Yeah. So I was always told if they're not there, to stay there until they come back around the lake. So what we would do is we would start there and then walk around the lake, kind of fishing from the shore. So that's what I was doing. And that's what I was doing when I had my second encounter with this thing.
Was it the same one? So the second encounter? Was it with the same?
It was the two of them again.
Right. Yeah.
So I hear barking, and it sounds like little dog barking. So I'm stoked again, I'm going to get this dog and take it home with me. And I can see it running around across the lake.
Right.
Okay? So I'm fishing, and I'm sitting here, and I think that I can hear my dad starting to come around.
Yeah.
So I kind of call out to him, and kind of get to this area where he could see me a little bit better, and continue to fish. And then I was grabbed from behind by the bigger one of the two. I saw the hands go in front of me, and I felt like a breastbone pop into my back. And this thing grabbed on me like a dog, like a dog would if it was. I know it sounds stupid, but like a dog would if it was humping your leg or something. It had its arms crossed open, and it had long white hairs coming from the arm, like almost. Yeah, see, I didn't draw it good enough to show it. Yeah, those little things that are hanging from the arm there. I mean, that was much longer. It was almost like how you see an orangutan's arm. You know how they've got the long strands, and it was caked in this red clay mud. Now this thing was sniffing and biting on the top of my head, in my hair, chewing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I hear the whistle, my dad, right? This thing drops off and runs off, and I pissed myself.
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
I was sitting there trying not to breathe, trying not to move, because all I knew is I was still alive.
Yeah.
I had seen this thing once before, and I knew exactly what the hands, when they went over me. I mean, there's nothing else that ran through my mind besides don't move, don't breathe, don't do anything.
Yeah.
So Dad comes out and around, and I was a mess. I was just crying and screaming, and he was upset, and my uncle was upset, and they had my hoodie and my underwear with them, and they said that they found that in the tree around the bend on the lake. Okay, so I tell them what happens, and they think that it's these kids fucking with me. Oh, pardon me. These kids screwing with me. Pardon me. You think I'd know better? These kids messing with me, and they called the cops. The cops came. We actually went to the neighbor's house, one after one, and they made me look at the kids, and that they had it in their head that one of them or all of them were playing a trick on me, like dressing up like a werewolf and sneaking up on me and slapping the trailer at night, and yeah. So cops came. This lasted for a good while because it took a while for the cops to get there. It took a while for us to get to the neighbors' houses. It was a hell of a thing, and all the neighbor kids, man, were they pissed at me? Yeah, no more playing with them at the bonfires anymore. That's for sure. If I didn't hear skunk bad enough, now I got to hear the werewolf thing. Okay.
Yeah. So.
No. So.
Can I just ask?
No, go ahead.
With the hoodie and the underwear,
huh?
So when they found your clothes, when your uncle and dad found the clothes,
right?
That been removed off you?
No, I think it was in the bag. From the bag that was that was missing.
Right, got you.
So I don't know if it ran and got my clothes that night, or your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, to keep all of your scent, to know it's you. You think?
I don't know. I've had a lot of time to think about it now, and I almost think this thing was checking me out as a playmate for its kid or something. Or maybe it was trying to take me. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to eat me. I don't know.
You could have been. I know.
Listening to 411. Yeah.
You could have been one of the 411.
Oh no! This was. I'm trying to make light of it, but this was an ordeal when it was going down. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, but I know you said you hate yourself, but it must have been so scary.
Yeah, I had dreams. I had dreams for years. I would draw sketches of these werewolves all the time. I had this little Ringling Brothers little crayon set thing where it had an erase board, and I remember I drew its face, and I don't know why I drew it, but I drew it crying, and I was obsessed with this thing when I was a kid, this picture. Don't touch it! Don't touch it! It was weird. I had dreams about this thing for years.
I'm not surprised. I think I'd still be.
A couple days later, I saw it one more time. Yep, and that was enough for my family. I said I saw it again, and they were like, "We're getting out of here," and we went and stayed with a different family after that. Yeah. So okay, so when you call the cops on something like that, they seemed upset because my parents were so upset and I was so upset. I mean, here I'm trying to tell them this magic story of werewolves and puppies, and the cops wanted to know, like, which kid do you think it could be?
Yeah.
The taller one on the end? You think it was that kid?
Yeah.
How about the one with the long hair over there? It's that kid. And and this went on for a while. And they let everybody go, and awkward, It's a small community out there. So I mean, this was like not the best thing in the world. And I was embarrassed, and I kept telling them, "Hey, no, it's not the kids."
Yeah. So what was the time scale from the first sighting to the last one?
Well, I think we were only there like 3 or 4 days.
Right.
So it was like right. So we got there right away. I mean, parked. I'm running out there wanting to stretch my legs, and that's when the whole puppy thing. It happened right at dusk, and that's why my dad started whistling for me. It was getting dark, and yeah. No. The first time when I saw the big thing, like it freaked me out. It freaked me out or whatever. But it was so cartoonish. Like my brain hardly could do something. What the hell? I mean, it literally leaned over, picked it up, and just kind of trotted off, like lurching forward. No.
Right.
Now.
Can I ask some viewers' questions on what you've
Sure. I'm not really paying attention to the chat.
I'll just go through them, and I'll do them in the order that I've received.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So Rick Allen, did the pup ever walk bipedally?
Not that I saw.
No.
It did sit on its hind legs quite a bit when it was playing with me.
Yeah. So, how big was it? So what?
I mean, God, I wish. I always, my aunt had a dog that kind of looked like it, and I so wish I would have gotten a picture of this dog. His name was Tammy Sue. I can't forget it. Had a needle nose, man. It was a long nose, yeah, and lots of needly little teeth in it, but like a puppy. Yeah, but no, I didn't see it.
A German Shepherd pup.
Yeah, but like a mutt. Like it didn't look like a German Shepherd because my mom's sister had a German Shepherd, and then I would have been like, oh well, that's a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Again, I was pretty obsessed with animals at the time, so I was just kind of like, what puppy? Yay! Yeah.
All right. Next question then from Johnny Appleseed. He wants to know, when Vincent saw the little one, was it making any noises?
Yes. It made like a real chirpy puppy noises, like it was like playing with it. Like just like a little.
Yeah.
It didn't make anything. It didn't talk to me or anything. It was like, hey, how are you? No mind speak. Nothing like that.
I was going to say, did the older one, the adult one, did that use mind speak or anything?
No, not even a little bit.
Just nothing.
Though, the last time I saw it, it really gave me a message. Like I really felt like it was like I know you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, nothing like.
Right. No, that's cool. Cheers.
Mm.
Right, so Ancient Ruby, she wants to know, what did the hand look like, Vincent, and how did you manage to see the tail?
The tail? On the bigger one or the smaller one? I'm sorry. I can talk about both.
That was jump on.
Now the bigger one's hands. I felt like
I'll put the drawing back up.
Okay, so the things that I would say that are wrong with this drawing. for one, is the hair should be a little bit longer on the arms.
Yeah.
And the forearms should be a little bit longer because that looks kind of like people arms, and I did that to kind of make it look spooky. But hold on a second. 1 second. I'm gonna grab a drawing real quick.
Yeah.
It's right behind me. See, I only went off screen for a second. But this is a commission work that I'm working on. But the arms really look like this.
Right, let me put you in solo layout. There we go. Wow. So the lower arm is a lot longer than the upper arm. The forearm is longer than the upper arm.
Yes. You know what? I'm not sure because I didn't have a ruler, but I felt like the elbows were against my chest. It had me, man. It had me like this. Like its hands were out in front of me, and it had me like an elbow, and it's like if I had to guess, it has a breastbone that was poking me in the back. Something sharp was poking me in the back. Yeah. Which, when I told the police that, they thought, oh, they had a knife or
a weapon or something.
A weapon, right? They had it against your back, and it scared you so bad. And
so they were putting words in your mouth to. Basically.
Well, yeah, they're trying to reason it away.
Well, yeah.
Because obviously something had happened. Because my parents, my dad, when they found the underwear in my zip up hoodie in the tree, they were disturbed by that. I wasn't there when they found it, but they were pretty upset about it. I wish my dad was still alive. I wish he could reference what he thought when that was going down.
So what? The tail.
The tail. Okay, the tail that I saw was like a flag tail. Like it's got long hair on it. It was kind of like And again, but again, it had there's this red clay in the area. Okay, it's just everywhere, and it was all over both of them. Like their hair, it almost looked like there was strands of dreadlocks or something, because of how muddy they were.
Right. So the area where you was at? Does that get hot? Is that the climate? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Humidity's terrible.
I was thinking, if they're going in the clay, obviously clay cool you down.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. But
like when I would go fishing, it would be all over me by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think it just maybe just from being around.
Yeah.
And you've got it was a flood, so waters were really high, like really high. Yeah, not as much out there as where we were when we had to leave, but it was still pretty bad out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to process all this.
I know. It took me years.
When you said you had a Dogman story, I wanted to
I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out too. I just, like I said, I've never. When these things happen to you and you're an investigator, okay, and researcher, you almost don't want to tell people the weird stuff that's made you a part of the paranormal. Because people are going to poo-poo this all day, and that's fine. But it doesn't change that.
But then when you do your own show as well, people are going to think, and then you're going to have that knock-on effect as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the stuff I've encountered and seen or heard and what have you, and I've not told anyone because even to me in my own head,
Right.
in some of the stuff that I have told people is so ridiculous.
I mean, for years, I
imagine. So
I tell you how it all came back. Okay, when Nicole was first pregnant with Lane, we would sit and watch a lot of these paranormal shows together. Okay, now one of these shows had one of these Dogman stories to it. And it was a pack of them, and it was an older gentleman and his wife, and I forget exactly how it happened or whatever. But he's got to go outside and try to get to the car, and he gets stuck out there. And I just started having like these memories, like, oh my God, these things are out there, you know.
Yeah.
And for years, you know, like when I was a kid, I would talk about, you know, these things, and I mean, there's nobody else to. Hey, when you're 9 years old, even my best friends were like, yeah. Well, yeah, werewolf, yeah.
I just wasn't, honestly, was not expecting what you've told me so far.
Sure. Do they have any more questions about that?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm moving stuff up. But, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Bernadette would like to know.
Oh, hi, Bernadette.
If the little one was being used to lure you towards a bigger one, was it baiting you?
Maybe. What was it doing in my hair? I had like thick saliva in my hair. Yeah, that was another thing. I mean, there was stuff in my hair. And I was like, well, what's that? Oh, it could be anything. I don't know.
Well, that
wish I would have took a sample of that. No.
Well, that brings me to one of the next questions from Nigel Logan. Was there any DNA on it from you? Was there any DNA on you from that?
Oh, I would assume so, yeah.
And no one tested it? Obviously.
No, well, no. 1993 and...
Oh, yeah.
9-year-old out in the middle of Missouri? I don't think so.
No.
No, they didn't believe me. They thought, little neighbor kids, you know, like, and there were these neighbor kids, okay? Now I should put that in context. There were these neighbor kids that had bullied me and a friend of mine out there before.
Right.
Like chased us around with BB guns and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So Dad right away was like, "It's those kids. Let's get them." Yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't the kids. It wasn't the kids. Why the coyote had a kid and took it from me? I don't know.
Next question's from Nickname. She wants to know, how did Vincent know it was a Dogman and not wolves or wild dogs?
Don't know, but he walked away, like on two legs.
Yeah.
Holding the thing. And it didn't look, you know, like how even monkeys, when they pick up a kid, it still looks like they're picking up a kid, you know what I mean? Like it looks, this was a really weird thing, man. This, every time I saw that big thing, it was just, it didn't look right. Like it looked like it was stacked up in sections. Like it was just the weirdest thing.
How tall do you reckon it was?
I mean, it couldn't have been 7 feet tall or anything. It wasn't like
really?
No. It was probably taller than my dad, I would say. You know, but it was hunched over a lot. Yeah, like a lot. Yeah, like yeah, like when I would see it, it was like hunched over like this the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been, but it went a good.
So say you stand up straight,
50 feet.
You probably get what? Probably another foot at the most.
I say again.
So no more than another foot. So
yeah.
So not that tall, really.
No.
Wow. All right, I'm going through the questions.
No, and it was that orange color. It was that orange, and I mean, it looked like a fox almost in its colorations. It was orange and white, and covered in that red clay mud. So maybe it was all white. I don't know. It looked like, yeah. I mean, the picture does look quite a bit like it.
Yeah, it's.
And the reason I drew the face like that is because I imagine that's what that's what it felt like it was doing in my hair.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know how to explain it. Have you ever seen a dog like clean another dog when it's chewing on them?
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hey, it didn't stink that time though.
I was gonna say.
No, it didn't stink that time. Not that time. Mm-mm.
Did it have clay on it the second time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nickname wants to know: has anyone gone missing in that area that you know of?
There's just been a couple. Yeah. It's part of the Mark Twain Forest, I believe. And yeah, there's been a couple out there.
Right.
I saw something else weird out there too. That is the same area, same lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a separate time. I'm there with Steve, my uncle, fishing. Just me and Steve.
Carry on. I'm going to throw this up.
Sure.
This was the next question anyway.
No, just me and Steve, and we turned that corner that I'm telling you about.
Yeah.
And this time the water's way lower, so when we turn the corner, there's like quite a bit more area to the lake. Okay,
yeah.
And over there, let me think about how far away we were. I mean, you couldn't see us. I thought it was an orangutan. And that's what I said it was, and I still think it could have been somebody's pet orangutan, maybe.
Yeah.
But and this is going to sound cliche, but yeah, I was on the bank splashing around, like drinking water and splashing around. We watched it for like 10 minutes, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and my uncle was like, "We're getting out of here," and he called them the woodsmen.
Right.
And I saw I'd ask him about them all the time. What are the woodsmen? He's like, it's just those are the people of the forest. When you see them, it's their turn to be in the forest, and you got to leave. Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably smart, but I thought maybe somebody had a pet orangutan or something. It's more likely than a legendary Bigfoot.
Sasquatch.
But is it? I don't know. Who knows? And again, it had that orange hair.
How many private zoos are there in the US?
I'm sorry?
How many private zoos are there going to be in the US?
Oh, God, yeah. Right.
Got all these...
I know a couple of people that have a ton of animals like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indiana, Larry the animal guy, Larry Batson, he's got a baboon, he's got a couple bears, a couple, I think, big cats.
Yeah.
And he's got Bigfoot that walk up to the property, check out the animals. I always think they're out there checking that female baboon out.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh, food.
If you're watching Larry, that's what's going on.
Next meal.
Oh no! Right. God. See, that's what I always think too. I like those stories when people are, they're forest brothers and they take care of the nature. Well, I've heard stories that have changed your mind on that. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just so, wow, this is just amazing. Right, next question. Warren. Was this a one-off encounter, or did you continue to have interactions? I think you'd already answered that. So
Yeah, it was 3 interactions.
over a few days.
Mm.
So have you? Oh, someone right. Next question again. I was just going to ask you. Have you been back to investigate the lake? Taken any equipment? Done any filming?
I haven't. Isn't that nuts? I should go back, but I have not been back.
Is it far from where you are now?
Not that far, no. Now, this is the house that we had to leave to go to that
Right.
other place, right? So, I mean, a couple hours, 2-3 hours.
That's not too far then, is it?
No.
Do it in a day. Or even
I could.
I need to write it down and come still live stream from there.
You gotta come with me, Andy?
I'll come with you.
All right.
I've got a couple of weeks off work still.
Let's go!
Yes. You know what?
It's just a dog,
if
man.
I was over, I'd be there. If I could get there, I'd go.
I appreciate it.
Won't even hesitate.
Well,
Right, next question on this one is Rick Allen wants to know, what do you think dogmen are?
that's a good one. Now, I think that upright canines, if they are always here, then they were brought here by extra dimensional or extra planetary beings, because that didn't evolve here. That's not like natural. I couldn't think so.
What about hybrids? Could they be like genetic hybrids?
I absolutely think that if the government can take advantage of anything, they are. So I bet you that they've got their own pile of Dogman somewhere, probably Sasquatch. Shoot, they're probably working with ET and everything else. So.
Rick said, good answer.
Oh, thank you, Rick.
Is his question, so yeah. So do you know of anyone else in the area that's had any encounters, like anything close to like what you had? Any
Not really, no. I've heard other Sasquatch things out there, but upright canine, few and far between in Missouri.
So when you seen, obviously you had the encounters with the Dogman, and then you seen what you thought was an orangutan. What was the time difference from the Dogman encounter to seeing this orange type monkey?
Let's see. I believe the orangutan was first by a couple years.
Right.
I think I was younger and when we went out there, and I definitely happened first. Because if I would have seen that, my mind would have been the monkey grabbed me.
Yeah. Cool. Cheers for that. Right. So, do you want to have a break now, and then we'll talk about the house where you live in, or do you want to start talking about this now?
Whatever you want to do. We can talk about the house. We can talk about the near-death experience thing, or whatever you want to talk about.
Right. Well, we'll do that. Do one more question. We'll have a 4-minute break, and then we'll talk about the house. Is that good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Right. So the next question is from Rick again. What paranormal events would you like to investigate?
Well, now I'm more focused in ufology and things like that at the moment. But I'm always up for a good cryptid story, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's all tied together. It really is. Hauntings, cryptids, extraterrestrials. We're going to find out there's something that they all share. I don't know what that is, but...
Yeah. No, I believe there is. There's got to be a connection.
There has to be.
Why would it all be going off if there was no connection?
I have ideas. I have ideas. Maybe how the Mayans said that we were coming into this new plane of existence, but we've been here already. So maybe when we reach this part of space, because we're out there spinning around and moving around, maybe this is what the dimension becomes. Start letting people in.
It's funny that, like, probably about 2 weeks ago, I definitely felt like there's some sort of shift. Something's definitely, whether it's just me personally, because I've had quite a lot go on, as you know.
Yeah.
So some of the people in the chat know, I've had a lot go on in the last couple of weeks. But it was like I went to bed, let's say the Saturday night, woke up Sunday. It's like felt like a completely different timeline.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that. You're not the only ones I've heard say that recently.
Yeah, it's like what's literally. I woke up and it's like I felt different. I knew, obviously, it's still not me, but the months previous to that, didn't feel like it was just like I was rolling along and nothing was happening, and all of a sudden I'm back to living again. It's like
Near-death experience will kind of do that to you.
Don't know what's going on, but I just feel, I don't know, like everything's been amplified lately. Everything.
Yeah, the house has been cooking lately, I tell you. Weird stuff. The electrical stuff that goes on here is just maddening. Yeah. Well, we can talk about that after the break.
Yeah, right. We'll do a quick break then, and then we'll talk about the house. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Right, see you in 4 minutes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry about that. My computer just decided it was gonna sound like a jet engine, and then it's decided it might restart partway through.
Oh boy.
So I've tried cancelling it. I think it's done it. We'll
We're
see
still on.
if I go off, I'll jump on my phone. You'll only be on your own for about 10 seconds.
That's okay. It's okay. Show business.
You know how it goes.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Right. Okay. Let's talk about the house. The one that you sat in right now.
The house.
The house.
Is that okay, house?
Double check. Make sure it's not going to power.
Right. Yeah, don't turn the computer off right now. The house. Well, the house is very active. We've got a couple resident ghosts, and then in recent years, we've got a new guy here that we don't want here. And, yeah.
So what was the first thing that happened?
Okay.
Remember?
When I was a young boy, I would talk about playing with this little girl all the time, this little blonde girl. And my parents were really just like, I have no idea who you're talking about. I would, hey, I want to play with the little blonde girl. She never tells me her name. Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't know who you're talking about. But yeah. I was adamant about it when I was a kid. And, in recent years, not in the last couple, but in recent years, I saw her, I want to say about right when I moved back, I want to say. So around 2008, 9. It was like when I moved back here to help my father. He was getting a liver transplant, and
right.
She wanted to say hi, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we've got this basement. This is an old 3-level house. Okay, there's basement, main level, top floor. Now this house was owned by a family that owned the other house next to us, and behind our house we have a 2-story garage. So there were several family units within the family, if you know what I mean, like like uncle and aunt, and Now the basement was made during the probation era, and there's a bar down there, and I'm pretty sure it was a little bit of a hangout for the locals.
Back in the day.
Yeah. I saw a question earlier that somebody asked if I thought I was sensitive to spirits or if I had any abilities. I would say, am I sensitive to it? Yes, I would say that I'm sensitive and I'm pretty empathic. I wouldn't call myself a psychic. I don't believe that I'm like more gifted than anybody else who tries hard, But I think that when you have these near-death experiences, and I'll come back to the house, but when you have these near-death experiences, it does open you up to these things. And you can either get used to it, acquire it, like accept it and run with it, or you can just like fight it until it goes away. If it goes away, right? Yeah. Exactly. So in the house, I see these things, and am I sensitive to it? I would think at this time, yes. But when I was younger, now I think all young people, before they're dulled by society and life, they're a little bit more psychic than adults. I think that now my kids now, they see things all the time. Right. In the room. Yeah. Well, my son.
How old are the kids?
My son Len is 4,
Yeah.
and my daughter Alice is she's almost 3 months. I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say she's only a couple of months, isn't she?
No, she's adorable too. But yeah, they see stuff all the time. My son will look in the corner, and I'll look in the corner, and he'll just go and shake his head, and kind of look. Yeah, it really creeps me out sometimes, you know.
Do you not ask him?
You don't want this to happen to your kids, you know.
Yeah.
Or my daughter will start laughing and giggling, and there's
reason.
no, and she's looking like she looks at me, you know, when I'm making faces at her. Yeah, but she's looking at somebody else. Huh?
Yeah.
Dad, over you. But yeah. Unfortunately, I've never seen my father since he's passed. He passed almost 5 years ago.
Okay. Yep. So, do you think it could be him that they're seeing? With it being that, do you think it could be your father that the kids are seeing? With it being
It could be, but I really doubt it. It might be a different relative. Now, I've seen my Uncle Bill, who passed away a good number of years ago, and I've seen him a couple times in my house, and I almost think he's almost adopted the kind of like a spirit guide kind of role in my life. Sounds kind of strange, but I find myself talking to him sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him a couple times, like looking at you. He was solid and right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll spook you.
Did he ever try and communicate with you?
It was during a time in my life. It was kind of a down time. I was getting a divorce and everything. I was kind of in bad shape, and he was kind of looking at me concerned, but he didn't speak. No.
Right.
But he just looked
knew the reason why he was there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah.
So what else have you got going on in the house?
Okay.
What about the cat?
This is the ghost cat. The ghost cat. This is interesting. We see this gray cat in here all the time. Yeah. Now I've got cats. Okay, so everybody's like, "Oh, can it be your cat?" Now I'm talking about my dad. One time, he's like, "I got the cat. It's in my room. I got it right now.
Yeah,
help me get it." And this is after weeks of us being talking about this cat and stuff like that. And finally, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see this cat for the first time. And I'm telling you, my dad was like, I've got it under the bed. You go around that side, I'll go around this side. The door's been closed. There's no in or outs.
It's not getting in. It's not getting out even.
And I saw the damn thing under the bed. Yeah. It looked at me. And then we started to go after it and never could find it again. Now, we've seen this cat so many times since then. Yeah. Like, so many times. And we'll see it every once in a while just dart across the room. And I got a cat that kind of roams the whole house. This is kind of strange. We've got upstairs cats, which are the 3 younger cats. And then we've got the downstairs cats that are the 2 old cats. Now, one just passed away. And the other one is still with us. And he's 21 years old. And, yeah. So we always are like, but cat check. Make sure the cats are, nope, it's that gray cat. It doesn't look like our cats. It doesn't even look like it. It's a big, fluffy, gray cat.
So when you see it, does it look like it's just a normal cat?
There's a mix of that, actually. When I first saw it, man, I thought, how the hell did this cat get in here?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw like the yellow in its eyes and, like the whole thing, and it looked at me like, oh, I better get away. And there's nowhere for it to go. I mean, there's no way I could have just not.
If you both.
I mean, we turned the room upside down. I mean, the bed was on its side. The whole room, we shifted the stuff to the other side.
Well, if you're like, I'm guessing you and your dad
We're losing our minds.
behind the bed.
Yeah.
The cat would have had to pass one of you to get out.
And the door was closed.
The doors
Yeah.
closed and locked.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
2 men enter, 1 man leave. Yeah. We were Thunderdome in that cat. There was no. no
Do you hear the cat? Does it smell? Does it anything? Does it do anything?
No, never ever heard it or
Around
anything.
owning
Like
the place.
but yeah, you see it. Yeah. Yep. That's wild. And I mean, it's like you see it every once in a while. It's like a recurring character of the house. And maybe it's part of the house. Maybe it was one of the previous owners' cats.
Like previous owners, tenants, if it was their cat or...
No, but there's an older lady died in the house, and she's here.
Oh.
She's here, and I've seen her since I was a little kid, and I've seen her a couple times in the last year.
Do you think it could have been her cat?
Maybe, could have been.
Do you ever see the two together?
No. Nope. No. And it's not when the cat's around. Usually, when the other things are around in the house, there's electrical interference. You can feel things. Like all of a sudden it gets weird. I don't know how to explain besides that. Like the whole room, you'll just be like, what's going on in here? And and then something will happen, or whatever. But this cat, that's not it's a separate kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I don't know. Yeah, but so there's an old lady in the house.
Yeah.
Now, she died in what is now the dining room when she was sick. And I don't know exactly the whole circumstances, but she's either decided not to leave or she comes back here. I have tried to communicate with her before, but when we did do that, I felt like she started getting real weird and kind of like spooky. So I always tell people this too. Like when you're a researcher and you've got stuff going on at your own house, it's not good to look into it so much.
No.
Because it'll be your new obsession.
Yeah.
And you start playing mind games with yourself, like I'm the chosen one and I'm here to. I mean, you've heard it before. You kind of gotta keep the blinders on, and like I said, that's why I don't talk about this stuff as much because
I had something happen. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today. I was in the house. It was yesterday. I'm not going to go because I don't want to open it up. But I just kind of like. I asked the question to the person that it could have been. It's like, not me. So I'm like, we'll just leave it there and we're not going there. And I'm not investigating on my own doorstep, so to speak. So I'm just,
Don't tell them. I mean, you call and then they'll come answering. I mean.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what you're talking to. You got to figure it out. And you live there and sleep there. That's not good.
That's what I mean. So I'm good for now. I'm good not knowing. I know something, but I don't need to know what that something is at the moment.
That'll lead me to the next thing, okay? The shadow creature. The shadow being, okay? Now, I have had 3 separate psychic people that have remote viewed my house, and on separate, don't know each other, separate years, separate occasions, have all told me the same thing, that I have a shadow creature here, person. You can call it a shadow person. I don't think it looks like a person.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Oh, man. See, there is something else. See, there's another part of there's the ghost stuff of the house, and then there's something else with the house, okay? There's something else, and I don't know if that's because of what I find myself doing these days as far as the investigations and such.
Yeah.
But there's another layer to the mystery over here. Now, I call them the duende. They look like little people. They look like little. There was a video on YouTube not too far back of this little guy. It's this kitchen, and you see this little baby, and it's from the floor shot, and the mom walks in the room, and there's this little guy, and he just takes off running across the room. That is exactly what I see. Those little guys. They look like they've got elongated heads and like pointy ears. And you'll see their little arms pumping. Yeah, whatever you want to call them. Duende, fae, things. Is that part of the spirit, the creature thing? Black shadow guy? I don't think so.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to jump to this question. I'm not going to do them in order. I'm going to do them in relevance.
Sure.
So Space Cadet Lottie wants to know, do you live out in the States, or are there any like cell 5G towers near, or both?
No, I live in the city, and it's right. Pretty yeah. No cell towers anywhere close. That's a good question though, because I've looked into a haunting, and in their backyard, like in the neighborhood they were in, they had just put up one of those new towers, and they were having all sorts of weird stuff going on over there. Yeah. Poltergeist kind of activity.
Yeah. So just jumping back to the little people.
Uh-huh.
How many? What's the most you've seen in any one time?
One.
Right.
Just one of them.
Do you think there's more than one?
My gut says yes. Oh God, I don't know though.
Oh.
Yeah, it does.
Sound like a good yes. No. Sorry, I've just opened another can.
I know, right? What the heck's going on over here? I don't know.
So you reckon there's more than one?
It would make sense. I mean, my gut's telling me that anyway.
Why would there only be one?
Right. And I mean, sometimes and you might have heard this with other people. When there's storms, like electrical storms and stuff, the activity picks up, and when it does, you can see multiple different strange stuff over here. I'm not claiming to be sitting on a Skinwalker Ranch situation or anything, but it is a pile of weird over here. It really is. Yeah.
It's like so the other night. It was one night last week. I was watching TV in the front room, and I got up to use the downstairs bathroom. Literally, you come out the front room, go through the kitchen, into the bathroom. As I'm walking through past the bottom of the stairs, I can't remember what it was for, but it wasn't something I'd normally think about. I kind of asked the question in my head. It's to do with the paranormal. All the lights blinked off and came back on. Whether it was just coincidental, but it just happened at the exact point I'm opening the bathroom door to go in.
See, I think I don't believe in coincidence anymore.
No.
I don't know if I'm just ultra paranoid or...
somewhere, whether it was what I was thinking or something happened there, yeah. And there's not been any storms. We've not had any rain here or anything for ages. But horrible humid heat. But it was just seemed really strange as I had this thought process. I flicked off and back on again.
No, in my house, stuff the light thing is a constant thing. So,
is it?
What could happen while we're here? Like the breaker will trip.
Oh,
no reason.
The full
the whole thing will go. Sometimes it'll just be one thing, but a lot of times the whole damn thing will go. And I mean, the house is old and it needs repair and whatnot. But I mean, it wasn't. It's just.
what about the other houses in your area? Do you know if anyone else has the same issues?
I do, actually, yes. A couple of the neighbors on my street, I've asked them, and they've said that they've had weird things going. And I often wonder if that shadow creature is causing the same kind of chaos in those people's lives, too. Now, the thing with these shadow creatures is, okay, these things, what they do, that I can tell anyway, is those tense and sad and angry and depressed moments. It feeds on that stuff, and it will whatever it can do to rise that tension level, whatever it can do to just push you over the edge. And the only way to get rid of them is to starve them out of that energy.
Right.
And, I try to be a very positive person and all, but it is very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. And there's been some pretty questionable things that have happened here that make me wonder if it was under that influence of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father did something very uncharacteristic of himself one night. I came and we found him in the kitchen, and he had just taken all of his medicine at one time.
Right.
And it wasn't. We weren't. They like classed it like a suicide attempt, but I just don't. I just don't think it. It just didn't.
It's completely out of character.
Yeah, and I mean, even when it was going on, like he was drinking from the faucet. Like from the kitchen faucet, and I've never once ever seen the man do that before, which is very strange. And it's the whole thing was just so not right. And then it's like eventually he snapped kind of out of it, like when I was like, "What's going on? What did you do? What did you take?" And he's just kind of like, "I don't know."
So he doesn't know what happened.
Not as much. No. Well, I mean, at least that's the story we got.
Wow. So has that anything like that happened to anyone else in the house or even in the neighborhood?
Now, yes. Unfortunately, a neighbor of ours, his niece was special needs, and he came home and she was rocking back and forth in the corner doing something very uncharacteristic of her, and seemed that she did something similar.
Right.
Yeah, and she was very sick. She was in the hospital for quite a while and is in hospice now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something in my heart tells me that thing has something to do with it. I really do think that. I really do.
So have you tried or attempted to have the house cleansed?
Multiple times. Every day.
So
every day I do a cleansing.
Cleanse it yourself or
every day.
People in.
Yeah, and I've done the gambit of everything. I've done everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. No, it's right. That's one of the questions is from Rick. Have you ever brought in preachers or priests to bless the house?
Yes.
Right. And it's just still going on.
To my understanding, the shadow creatures and the shadow creature and the human spirits, you've got to convince them to leave. You can't force them to, apparently.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. And like, am I superstitious and religious? Sure, both.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly is waiting for us on the other side, but I know there's something.
Yeah, there's definitely something in there.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it.
There can't be all this stuff going on for there to be nothing after this.
Right. Exactly.
What sense does it make?
Not much, right?
It's just pointless, isn't it? Sorry, I've just got to start a couple of the questions.
No problem. No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the questions so I'll do this one from Space Cadet about clearing negative energies or entities from your home to do some organite. Have you tried using that?
Yes. No, I would suggest people to do that too. That does help very much. Yes.
So I've got about 40 crystals scattered around.
No, yeah, me too. I got a whole grid. I've got them buried at the corners of the property. I've got black salt, tar water, holy water, blessed medallions.
Really?
I mean,
is it everything?
I've
got like a
Navajo beads and just everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Anything that helps it go away, and the tar water and the smudging, it will buy me time.
Right.
It will stop the everything for a time.
Yeah.
And I mean hours, not days or anything.
Right,
hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Like maybe now I do it like once or twice a day. Is I'll do a cleansing. I do a tar water spray. I do these prayers and stuff, and I have this whole ritual I do.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Sorry, I just need to check something. Sorry, be 1 second. It's just to do one of the next questions. Right, that's fine. Where is it? Where's it gone? Done that one. Oh, this is from Rick. Do you know if there's any Native American legends around near where you live?
Not that I know of. Like in the immediate area. No, I don't think so. Now I've got a little obsession where I like to go to Cahokia Mounds, which is not a super far drive away. And the Cahokia Mounds is the biggest. It was the biggest city in the world at one point when the inhabitants still lived there. But,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Right. So
The mound builders, giants,
going from there as well.
Yeah.
Cool. That was it. So Nickname wants to know: Do you know or have you heard of Nathaniel Gillis?
I don't know if I know Nathaniel Gillis.
I think. Well, he's our guest next Friday. So.
Oh, well, I'll tune in.
Yeah. I can send you his details if you want. I'm sure he won't mind.
Sure.
I know he's over your side of the water. Can't remember the exact.
Sure. Hey, I am always up for some help. Yeah.
Yeah. He deals with unclean spirits.
Now, I will tell you, these shadow things, too. I mean, this isn't like a normal kind of haunting thing. These things really, I mean, they push you.
Really?
I mean, just everything that can't, it's like Murphy's Law, man. It's like if it can go wrong, it does go wrong. And especially when you're upset. So a lot of times, all of us in the house have to take time to just kind of center ourselves and reestablish our energies,
Right. Yeah. I'm just looking up because I've got some of his details up.
Sure.
Ready for next week. He's got 2 books: A Moment Called Man and The Skin That Crawls.
Okay.
Well, I'll screenshot this and I'll send it to you and then leave.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well,
No worries.
I'm not going to give his details out on the air. They'll always be impressed.
Hey, who lives at?
I've got his cell number and all that, so I'm sure he won't mind me passing it on to you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yes, that's that one. I was going to say.
Oh, he's a demonologist. Okay. Yeah, I'm friends with Bill Bean. He's tried to help me before. The shadow thing is it's just really a pain, man. It really is. Now, I believe that, I think prayer works. I really do. The power of prayer is an amazing thing. It probably saved my life in the hospital, but
Yeah.
I tell you, this thing just won't leave. It just won't leave.
So do you get good or bad vibes from it, or is it a mix, or is it neutral?
This is a deep bad feeling. Yeah. Not always scary either. Sometimes when I see it, I feel overwhelmed by anger.
Right.
Another time you're sad to anger too. It's nuts. It's really...
So it's playing with your emotions.
Yes, absolutely.
So how long?
I mean, I think
How long have you had this going on? On a personal level.
It's hard to say when the shadow thing really started. It couldn't have been more than 5 years ago.
Right.
Since my father's passed. I don't think it was, like maybe around the time he passed it started coming around, but not too much before that.
Yeah.
Probably on the second time he got sick, not the first time with the liver thing. I think this was more the second time with the other cancer.
Yeah.
When we started seeing the shadow thing. And you'll see it. It's a thin 6'5", maybe. It's pretty tall.
Yeah. So is it also like the typical, like the Hat Man, where you see it when you're in bed and you wake up in the middle of the night? Or
yes, and we've had the sleep paralysis before too.
I was just about to ask you that.
Absolutely. Now this thing showed itself to me as a different thing one time during the sleep paralysis, but it looked like this amorphous ink blot that was kind of covering most of the ceiling and wall.
So, because it's like all the accounts that I've heard about with this comes from like one of the corners of the closet or just behind the door. It's not just anywhere in the room. It's always like a corner or a doorway.
Yeah. This thing is always at one spot.
Sort of pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's the same with you.
For the most part, yes. It mostly is in one spot. It hangs out in our bedroom by the closet door. Yeah. Wow.
And the missus sees it as well.
It's a walk-in closet that I'm turning into my studio.
You was turning.
Yeah. Right. No.
Not anymore.
Right. Now I'm going outside.
Yeah.
I'll be having the show outside, folks.
Safer with the Dogman.
Right.
Probably is.
Oh, man, I wouldn't want to find out, though. I tell you. No, thank you. Then they asked me, do I want to see another one? I don't think so.
Right. Sorry.
The Dogman thing? Maybe, but no. I mean, I was so scared when I was a kid. I mean, so scared that it gave me, like, nightmares and dreams for years. And then, like, when you get older, you start playing it off. Like,
did it really?
Couldn't have been. No.
Was it this? Was it that?
No. Right.
Yeah.
But will they tell the skunk story and the whole thing? Yeah, sure they would. Man.
But if you can smell it, it's real.
Right.
It's gotta be.
What is that? It was either I was playing with a skunk, and a neighbor kid came and grabbed the skunk and ran off, dressed as a werewolf.
Yep.
And then terrorized me for a couple of days as a werewolf.
Yeah. Covered in red clay.
Covered in red clay at that too, right?
Yep.
Committed.
Who'd have thought kids in the 90s were that?
Right.
Their imagination was that good.
No.
Right, so Rick's put It causes sleep paralysis, so it can interfere with the motor neurons and cause paralysis.
It seems to, yeah. It does. And that's a scary thing. Have you experienced that before, Andy?
I've not. No, I've done it where you're falling asleep and you wake up, but your body's still asleep and your mind and your eyes are that little bit, like a few seconds in front, and you're trying to move and then there's nothing, then all of a sudden you can start moving again. But
It's like that, but like the sense of dread that you feel.
Yeah,
it's a weird feeling that comes over you. Oh yes, it's that feeling like uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No, I've not had that. Only like I said, that short bit. But I forgot what I was going to say.
It's all right.
That's,
you blame the house.
Yeah. I blame neighbours. We don't like them, but anyway, that's another story. Couple more questions. I'll come to this one. A little bit controversial, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. Have you ever used drugs to open up?
Oh, sure. When I was a kid, I experimented with it. Now, when I was a young man in high school, a freshman in high school, I contracted spinal meningitis and spent a month in a coma.
Wow.
And then about a year trying to get myself back to a close to normal. Well, my point getting to this is I would liken the experience to taking like a mega dose of LSD. It was like that for about a year. And so now later on in my life, I experimented with DMT, LSD, and mushrooms and things like that. And it was similar to that experience. And I would try to use it to kind of to get into that spot. Nowadays, I'm an old man. I don't need to do that stuff.
I won't say what I was going to say, but it doesn't matter.
No.
If you're going to do it, just do it.
Huh?
Don't abuse
college. It's in college.
Yeah.
As a comedian used to say that. There's a time to do that, and it's at college.
Friday night.
Right. I couldn't imagine doing that now. Oh my God. Knowing what I know now, I'd disappear. He vanished. I don't know.
Yeah, never to be seen again.
Get out of the Matrix, Neo. Yeah.
Right. Next question is from Nickname. So if you could come over to the UK, where would you like to go and investigate, and why?
I don't know.
Anything?
Good question. That is a really good question.
For a while.
I love history. I would want to go to all the. What's the most haunted castle out there?
Most haunted castle.
Yeah. What's the? Yeah, I know, but there's the one with those. What's it got? Black in its name or something? Am I off on that? Oh.
Joe, Nickname, or Lottie, Rick would know this.
They'll get it for us. I mean, what is with the monk? The monk shows up all the time, and it's the monk.
Nickname just put Tower of London.
Hey, I would love that too. Yeah, sure.
Edinburgh Castle. Because you've got all the underground streets and that around there as well.
It's just so old, like it's just so much has happened. It's like I really think when it comes to like stone tape theory, I really think there's something to that.
Definitely.
Especially when it's blood and stuff like that. It really permeates the ground and sometimes that replays like a movie.
Yeah. Joe's book, Chillingham Castle. Is that the one?
Ooh, I think that's it. I think you got it.
I know a few people have been to that.
Yeah?
Yeah. say, when you get there, you can definitely feel, even if you don't experience anything, you can feel the difference in the air.
It feels charged, I bet. Yeah.
And
that's what it feels like at Cahokia. There's these mounds there, right? And these mounds, they're supposed to be burial mounds, and they're huge. And I was talking to an old guy that worked there. He's a docent, does like the touring stuff for free there. Like, yeah. And he was telling me, and I hope he's not watching this. And he's telling me that they paid for the place by selling giant bones to private collectors.
Really?
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I really liked when he told me that.
With fast, is it the Serpent Mound?
No, that's a big one, but no, it's not the Serpent Mound. It's Cahokia Mounds.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll be the King Mound.
These are the mounds where the giants are supposedly buried.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Have they done any? I know they can't.
Dogman's been seen there too.
Excavate it, but they can use like the.
The radar, the ground penetrating radar.
Yeah, I was going to say sonar, but that's more for water. But where they can see what's in the ground and how far down it goes. Have they used any of that around there?
Yes, they have. Yes, and I asked about that. Now they do have parts where they'll show you like, oh yeah, it's like pottery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I always wonder though, what's the juicy stuff that they're not telling us, and why do they want to hide giants so bad now? I mean, why like even in the 80s and 90s they were still, you could still open a book and read, oh yeah, we found a giant skeleton here.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, there's no giants. Are you guys crazy? No, don't look at that. Look over here.
There's so much that's being hidden. We're never going to get told what's going on.
No.
Never.
I think just portals. I think a lot of the things that happen in those big ley line areas are portals. Same with the 411 stuff. I think that's Earth energies opening tears in the fabric of reality. Who knows?
Yeah. So do you reckon these are being controlled?
The portals?
Yeah.
I bet there's some that the government has probably a dial on that they probably use. Yeah. Right, but I think some of these other ones are random, and it's like a guy will be out jogging with his buddy and turn around to him and, hey, he's gone.
Nobody there.
I mean, that happens. That really does happen. What the heck is that?
And there's no one can give an explanation for it, or they're not willing to share what's going on, should we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Strange.
Strange stuff.
Yes. Next one. So this is going back to the shadow person.
Sure.
Can you communicate with him telepathically?
I think it does dream scenario stuff, but I like communication. Nothing more than that. I don't. No. There's not a back and forth.
Right. So do you say the missus sees it as well?
Yes.
At the same time, or do you see it?
It has. We've had group sightings of it.
Yeah. Have other people that come visit, and do they say anything?
When I was younger, my friends wouldn't. They didn't like to stay the night.
They don't.
They didn't like to. Yeah. Well, that. Yeah. Yeah. A friend of mine, we played with one of those spirit boards when we were really young, and one of the only times that I had ever seen it work before was that night, and the whole room glowed in a green flash. At one point, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before since. It was like a green,
So
like
was
almost
it
like a flashbang, like a, and then it was gone.
inside the room?
Yes.
Right.
Mom saw the light come out from underneath the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
No noise with it. No
No.
sound. No smell.
Not that I don't remember.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember. Smell.
Very odd. Very odd.
I know, no weird.
Right. Next question from Rick again. Have you noticed any areas of high strangeness where you are, like your local vicinity?
Yeah. Yes. There's a couple of areas around here where things don't make as much sense. This area has a lot of caves in limestone and quartz in it. So there's a lot of underground caves and water and quartz. And I really think that when you have those combos, that's when you get that energy
Yeah. It's like
permeates the area. Yeah.
it's having the right ingredients, like anything.
Yes.
Something to, like say with food, something to taste right, you've got to have the right ingredients. If something to work, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I really do.
The right amount of each to make it do what it needs to do. Where I live is so boring. Honestly, compared to all this, there is nothing happening.
No.
The lights tripped out the other day, and that's about it.
Oh, we get touched. I've been popped, slapped, pushed, shoved, pinched.
Well, I used to get.
I've never been cut. I've never been cut, and I've never been bitten by anything that I know of.
Stuff like that. What your experience where you are now, where I used to live in the next county down, it's only like 25 minutes away. There's a lot of stuff that went on at this one house, that was shadow people, noises, full body apparitions, UFOs, growling outside the bedroom window. That was no. Wasn't just me there. There's other people that witnessed. So I'm on the first floor, and I'm talking. It's probably about 12 foot from the bottom of the window to the ground below. Whatever was growling, say that's a window. Whatever was growling was right underneath the window.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll spook you.
And that only ever happened once. I lived there for probably about 5 years, and I only ever experienced a growling once. But loads of other stuff, which I'll tell you about later. But ground ain't nothing.
I investigated one house one time where they were complaining about a growling, and I actually found a raccoon in the wall.
Just a wall?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. It was just a wall. Yeah. But it was in the wall and in the ceiling part of the. Hey, you don't have a ghost. You got a big fat raccoon in there.
So we don't have them over here, so we can't even debunk it with that.
No. Yeah, it's not usually a raccoon.
Rats or owls.
Squirrels.
Squirrels, yeah. Oh, right.
So, had that too. We're going to an attic and a bunch of squirrels up there. Well, that's your problem. That's the noises you're hearing up there. Yeah. Got a party of squirrels up there. They don't like that when you say that too. No, I promise you, it's a ghost.
Squirrel ghost.
Yeah, squirrel ghost. Leave him some nuts to leave alone.
Next one from Rick again. Has all this changed Vincent's own religious beliefs?
It has.
With all the stuff that you've got going on.
It has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since the near-death experience, I've always known that there was something. But since this all has happened, I mean, even the Dogman thing, and everything, it opens you up to the possibilities.
Yeah.
I don't think any one religion has it right. and I don't mean to say that to insult anyone, but I really think that not one of us has the whole story.
No.
We won't find out until we leave this plane of existence. We might not find out then either.
Well, hopefully
Start all over again. We
get
could.
to the next level and
Right.
you never know. Right, so we're going to do 2 more questions and then we'll talk about the near-death experience.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, sorry, already asked that one. I've got one more. So, from Rick again, what is Vincent's favourite cryptid and why?
Well, it would be the Dogman because of the whole experience. I was pretty obsessed with the werewolves when I was a young kid. But since I've started with the whole paranormal world, I am a part of the North American Dogman project. I run the Missouri chapter. Yeah, and I helped Nick Valente run his Region 3 chapter of the North American Dogman project.
Cool.
Yeah. I do really like Sasquatch, though. That really fascinates me. That is a very close second.
Do you think that's because of the sighting that you had that time?
Maybe.
Anyway.
I remember when we were kids and all the cool movies that came out that were kind of like the Boggy Creek and stuff like that. That kind of, Leonard Nimoy had the On the Trail of and all that. I kind of started liking it back then too. Read all these weird Lauren Coleman books and stuff. I was a weird little kid.
Right, I'm going to ask you a question then. So the Michigan Dogman video, I asked Jodie the other week, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's been manipulated?
Are you talking about the one?
Gamlin? Is it Gamlin?
Yes. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a hoax. I think that guy. I think he hoaxed that. I think he came out and said he hoaxed it, didn't he? But lots of people say, "Oh, it's disinformation. That's a real thing," and they're just trying to throw you off the trail. I'm not sure, but I would.
People say that he come out and said it was a hoax to throw people off scent, that it was actually real, and that he just started to say it was a hoax. When I spoke to Jodie the other week, he was saying he thinks the first bit of the video where you see it
when you see when it gets jumps in the air, right? Yeah. You can see the hind leg and whatnot.
I think that bit's real, but the rest of it is added on to make it what it is now.
I don't know.
But
it could be.
Entitled to their own opinion, and I just wondered what you thought. Just were you saying like Dogman's like your go-to cryptid? That was all.
Right. Well, so I will tell you that there's definitely enough information out there that there are different kinds. There are definitely different kinds, and we were talking a little bit about how maybe the government might have a hand in changing them a little bit. I think that's part of what we're seeing. There could be other factors that play into that, of course.
Right. You may have seen, I'll just stay on this topic for a little longer. Alien Wood, what does he think about the picture of the Dogman from the security camera on the farm in Cannock Chase here in the UK? Now, Jodie sent me these pictures, and I've kept them on the computer. So I've got these 3 images and 3 negatives. So if I run them back, and there's one I've zoomed right in on it, and re-uploaded it. So I'll try and start with the first one. I just can't remember what order they're in because I didn't number them proper. But let me know what you think. Oh no! Wait. Right. So that's the first one. So you can see there's like a trailer or a crate. It's got grain on it. You can see like gravel trap on the floor. That's not the best one. So even you decide. It's your question.
It's got. Well, that's interesting. That's hard to say. Now, somebody if this is a hoax, they put a lot of work into it. That's for sure.
Well, this is a negative to that photo.
Huh. Well, you can see in the foot there. Okay, you know how everybody always say they have the backward legs, but I had noticed in my encounter when I saw that thing.
Yeah.
That the foot is actually longer, like a dog's, you know, and they walk on the the tiptoes almost, and that's what makes it look like it's a backward bent leg, but it's
got the front knee.
Those thighs that would have to be a different type than the one that I would encounter. It just doesn't look like the one I saw at all.
So this is the third. That's a third still. I think it was a trail cam. Even
very interesting.
The photo was, the camera was out of focus. Everything would be out of focus pretty much. So you can see how clear the crate is in the bottom left-hand corner.
Right.
And that on it. You see the gravel on the floor, like 6 o'clock in front of it.
Yeah, that's a little questionable.
The top half of it shimmering. It's doing something.
You know,
and that's the negative to it.
Most of the pictures that I've seen that have these things in it, they're completely like blurred out, or like a black mist will almost surround it when the camera takes. We had a man named Lee Hampel on, and he has a farm off of Bray Road. And he would place deer carcasses out and film, you know, put trail cams out there. And on many different accounts, he would see a blackness arrive and move the carcass. The carcass would be moved.
Right, here. So there's no actual full farm that was moving it. But so I zoomed right in on this one and cleaned it up a little bit. So if you look at the feet, so the right leg is nearest to the camera, you can actually see the shape of the heel and where the ankle would be. You can see the calf definition in the back of the lower part of the leg, and then where it goes into where the shin is. But then it also looks a little bit, I don't know if it's just a pixelation on it, but to me it looks a little bit cartoony.
Yeah, something looks like it's been touched up a little bit or something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just that bot from the knee down. I'm not saying any other part of it. I don't know if it's real or not. I haven't got a clue.
To see that thing, I don't know. And who knows what kind of... most of these pictures that I just... That's not going to be the way that we prove these things, you know. It's not. It's going to take more than that. It's going to take more than a video, I think, too. I think you could have it walk up to the camera and shake hands with you, but this day and age, man,
I think the only way to get full proof is to get one in captivity. I don't mean kill it.
Right.
Get one in captivity and question.
Right.
How else are you going to do it?
Right. Because people have tried to kill these things, and you know, they act like nothing.
You've probably heard more than me. It's like people that have had guns when they've seen them. They've not emptied the gun on it or anything. They always say, if I was gonna fire at this, you would have to kill it with your first shot, because you ain't getting a chance to take a second shot.
Right. Yeah. I would agree.
If I had the gun, if I had seen one of them, I had the gun, I would not be brave enough, or I wouldn't believe that I'd be able to take it out in the first shot.
No.
So I wouldn't fire at it.
I know a guy who says he shot at one and shot it, saw blood spray out and everything, and went out after that. And that's crazy. That is crazy.
Well, then you were like, you bounced
and didn't
off
find it. It was gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were like, I've heard a couple where it's been shot and it's like, it's had blood and like this funny coloured liquid or whatever it is. The bullets have gone straight through, or the bullets have just nothing.
It's bounced off, nothing.
Bounced
Right.
off and then you can't even find the bullet afterwards.
Right, yeah, that too. Absolutely.
So
We can't be dealing with a normal creature. This has got to be some sort of supernatural thing.
Yeah, supernatural armored shell.
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
I don't know.
I mean, you're not going to get a body. I mean, or maybe you will. I don't know. Yeah, you know, I think that we've collected Sasquatch dead bodies, and the government just puts a kibosh on any of that. You know, they.
Well, then you hear these people going down these country roads, especially over in your country, where they've hit one and they see it lying in the road, and they're umming and ahhing whether to get out and do anything, and then two more will come out from the hedgerow,
Uh-huh.
pick it up and move it,
Right.
in the car. You're not hanging about either way, are you? You're gone.
Right. Oh man, no, thank you.
So yeah, I don't know what to believe, but I do believe they exist. What they are, where they're from, no
It's
idea.
anybody's. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we've got a few minutes left. Do you want to tell us about the NDE?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you about the NDE. Yeah, that was a freshman in high school. I was unlucky enough to catch spinal meningitis for the second time. I had it when I was a baby.
Shit.
And this was a different kind. It was the real bad is meningococcal meningitis. And they gave me 11 spinal taps because they couldn't get fluid. And I went into a coma. And I stayed in that coma for a month. And they decided to start, they were saying goodbye and unplugging me.
Yeah.
When they pulled the catheter out, I came out of it. I kicked this pregnant nurse, poor thing. I kicked the pregnant nurse in the shoulder, dislocated his shoulder, and oh god, you know. But you know, I didn't know what I was doing. My eyes were bulging out of my head, and I'm alive. But yeah, so that happened. I had a high percentage of muscle atrophy. I had to relearn how to walk and talk and all read and write and all that stuff. But what I will tell you about is when I was in the coma, I remember a couple things.
Yeah.
One spooky thing I remember is I remember my pastor reading me the last rites every day.
Yeah.
When he would come in there and do the whole, you know, walk through the valley and, you know, the whole thing. And I would remember that and I'd be in blackness and just kind of freaking out. Yeah. Now, the other thing I remember is I remember being at a place. It was a building. It was like a, God, it sounds, I don't know if this is because I was, you know, in a Lutheran school at the time, and I was like having some sort of, you know, but I thought I was in some sort of mansion, kind of a home that had a lot of rooms in it. And these two older, this older couple,
Yeah.
they were there and they were taking care of me. And they basically said, you know, your body is elsewhere and you're here now because they're fixing your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stayed with them, and I remember bits and pieces of that, like being with those two people. And
Do you not recognize who they were?
no, I can still see them in my mind's eye. I really can.
Well, if you've seen that, if you was out walking about or driving. And
Oh, I think I would. Definitely be like, oh, do I know you from somewhere? And it would click. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. The other thing was that, there was all sorts of strange things. I played a lot of it off to just like being sick and having such a high fever, and it's a brain thing, and
Yeah.
So you're told you're hallucinating and whatnot, and they can't give you any pain medicine or anything because of I forget the exact reasons for it, but it has something to do with the I believe breathing or something about it. They couldn't give me anything. So I remember, especially when I was in the hospital, I was like harassed by this like shape-shifting thing. This is wild too. It mostly took the form of this get well rabbit. Okay, this like stuffed animal, like you would squeeze it and it says "Some bunny loves you," and it would laugh. Ha 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 ha. Right now, I was so freaking scared of this thing by the time I got out of the hospital that I told my family to get rid of it. Yeah. And this thing kept showing up. It was in my house. We threw it away a couple different times.
It kept coming back.
It kept coming back. I almost thought it was like my dad playing some sick joke on me. What do you swear up and down? No. Yeah. And this thing, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It told me what it was and why it was there, and it had something to do with in hospitals there was some extraterrestrial presence and some sort of nefarious underbelly of it, and I don't remember exactly all of it that it said, but I kind of logged it off as just like, oh, these must be fever dreams or some madness. But years later, my dad was in the hospital, and he started saying the similar things about seeing similar nefarious things go on in the hospital. It was very strange. And I was there for a long time. And I was in and out of consciousness, and when I got out of the hospital, like I told you, I was like in a psychedelic nightmare for months. I would be walking around my house, and I would walk into the room and I would see my body sitting there on the couch sleeping.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I remember that that would happen quite a bit. That I wouldn't, like, for a couple of months I didn't know if I was awake or if I was asleep or what was going on. And then you kind of like just humans, man, we adapt. That's what we do. And so you get used to anything. And I started to get used to it. And I started to be able to like deal with it, And I would see shapes above people, like geometric shapes. I saw shadow creatures and dead people and all sorts of stuff for a long time. And I almost feel like I must have had some sort of traumatic moment where I started to shut it off.
Right.
Where like it became too much, and I was just like, no, and this has gotta.
Can't deal with it.
Just can't do this anymore. But it never completely, went away, of course. And like even to this day, like when I do this or stuff like that, I see tracers like real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good at darts, though. Yeah.
Wow. Massive thank you for coming on and sharing all that with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. It's great to finally sit down and talk with you.
Meaning to get you on for so long, and it's doing one thing after another, and it's like, right, sit down now, I'm gonna message him, get him on. So, yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks for having me. I hope the audience liked it. And Thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, I know a lot of people are going to be getting up and going to bed for work tomorrow morning. And
Phantoms and Monsters Radio. We're going to have 2 new shows coming out. So.
Do you want to tell us quickly about the new thing you've got going on?
Yeah, well, real quick. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so Phantoms and Monsters Radio. We've got Lon Strickler, of course, on every Friday night.
Yeah.
And then soon I am going to be hosting a show called V, and it is going to be more extraterrestrial conspiracy, high strangeness driven.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, once you've got it all sorted, stick the links on the Facebook group.
Sure thing.
Have you got the links now? Not now. Have you got all your links ready?
I do. Yes. So.
If you want to send them to me, I'll send them in the description on here on YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I'll be doing the editing and everything to this tomorrow, so no rush.
All right.
Yeah, just send them over.
Definitely get that to you.
It'll be on in 24 hours. So.
Great.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for coming on.
Well, thank you. You'll have to come over and do my show.
Yeah. That's the only thing. The time, it's the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm doing one in Texas on. Well, it's Wednesday for them. It's
Fun.
3 a.m. for me.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
See, when you told me the time difference, I was like, well, let's go do this.
It's the wrong way for me.
Yeah, not too much.
But, yeah.
Oh, man. It's a hot day over here in St. Louis, I tell you. Whew.
Well, it's 32 here before, which is 94.
Yeah, that's about where we're at.
Like 86 now, and it's 10 past 10 at night, and it's not good.
Well, everybody come hang out at Phantoms and Monsters Radio, and if you want to find me on the YouTube and then on Facebook, you just search Vincent Richardson, I'll pop up.
Well, you're in the Codes the Unknown group, aren't you?
Yes, I am. It's one of my favorite groups.
You're always posting stuff. And, it's good. And it's been great chatting with you. So,
all right. You guys have a nice night.
Have a great weekend. See you on Friday when we've got Nathan Gillis. I'll send you his information as well. You stay on while I end this, so I'll have a quick chat. So thanks everyone for coming on. I am supposed to be doing an investigation, a live one, on the... I just have to get my calendar on. 1 second. On the 17th at 10 o'clock at night. Depending on how my stomach is and everything else and my ability to walk, whether I'm going to be able to do it or not. Failing that, we'll see you on Friday. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you then. Take care and good night.